Hi there, it's Mrs. Hoppy. Today I want to show you a couple tips for how to keep your Google Drive cleaned up. This is a good thing to do at the end of the school year so that when you start your new class in the fall, you'll sign into your Google Drive and you'll have a fresh, clean space for your new work next year. So there are a couple things we're going to do. First thing we're going to do is we're going to deal with untitled documents. This happens when you start a new document but you don't ever give it a name, and sometimes it's not even really something you need to save. So I'm going to come over here to my drive, and I have only a few files here, but you might have a lot. So what we're going to do is come up to search, and we're going to type in untitled. Now you see a few things come up, but I'm going to go ahead and hit enter so that everything that has untitled will show. All right, so all four of these, I'm going to open this one, come back to my drive and open this one, and I'm going to open up all those untitled things that I have. Okay, now this one, well, let me start here because this one's loaded. That looks like a sample thing. I don't think I need to save that. So I'm going to come up here and I'm going to change the title to delete. That's going to remind me when I go back to my drive that I can close that one or delete it, remove it. I'm going to close it. Now this one, this was a project I spent some time on. I want to save that. If I come up and click on Entitled Document, I'm going to call this Fall Flowers, and we're going to save that. Okay? Then I can close that tab. I'm going to look at this one. This is another one that I don't need. I'm going to call it Delete. There's our reminder. This presentation, I had a plan for that, but I never used it. I'm going to call that one Delete also. Enter. Now, when I come back here to my drive, I'm going to refresh my page, and I'm going to see I can delete that one, I can delete that one, I can delete that one. So thing one is, just like our slide reminds us, deal with those untitled documents. Search for them by untitled. The reason we just search untitled is so that we get untitled documents, untitled presentations, untitled sheets. So we want to search untitled and then name them or delete them. And then you'll have a little bit of a cleaner drive where everything has a name. So the next step is to use your folders. Now that we've cleaned up our drive, we want to use these folders. What we want is nothing on your desktop. Now, one way to do this, I have this folder of things for elementary school, and I want this to go here. I can just grab it, and I can drag it into the folder. Okay? These are things I did for practice, so I can drag them into the folders. These were my two projects that I did for school. Now, I have Classroom. If you're using Google Classroom, you have a Classroom folder, right? When you open that folder, there's your class. If you were, say, in junior high and you have 4 different classes in here, then you want to sort. But look, when I'm here, you can't see those files. When I'm back here, if I drag, I can only put it into the Classroom folder. So I'm going to show you a shortcut, and it's over here. This little triangle arrow next to my drive, I can click on that and I can expand the folders. So I can go Classroom, and there I see my folder. So if you had several classes, you'd see them all listed right here. And I could say, okay, Fall Flowers, I want that to go into this class. If I had another class I wanted to use, I just put it right in there. Do you see how this works? Now, nothing's on my desktop. Everything's into folders. If I ever wanted to go back and go, what did I do in Mrs. Hoppy's class? I open that folder. There's my work. All right, so that's one way you can get your drive cleaned up. So we looked at those untitled documents, we named them or deleted them, we used the folders to clean up our area, and now we're all ready to go. Now some teacher talk. If you use this with students, you can pause it right here and give your students time to work. Teachers, these are good file management tools to use every time you use Google Docs. Remind them. Untitled documents, let's name it. I'm going to show you one more thing that you can use. Let me open a document. When you're here, you'll notice as soon as this loads, there's a little folder up here. Okay, if I had my students working and they're doing their report, I could say, right now, move this item into and teach them how to store their files. Now, if you're doing an assignment in Google Classroom, which I highly recommend, it automatically puts it into that classroom folder and you don't have to worry about it. All right, but I want you to keep these file management ideas in the front of your head as you're using Google Drive. The other thing is archiving your classroom. If you're using Google Classroom, I'm going to pause for just a second and get my classroom view up. Okay, so here's my classroom view, and you would have all of your classes listed here. All you do is go to these three dots and choose Archive. And the reason you want to do that is it saves your posts and it saves your assignments, but it doesn't let students continue posting. Because if you have students coming back the next year posting in your classroom, you may not know. You might have whole discussions going on there, and that's just not a great practice. So at the end of your school year, archive your classes you're not using anymore, and then next year start new classes. You'll still be able to use posts. If you made an assignment that you really like when you're in classroom, and you go here, you can still reuse posts from archived classes. You can see, I mean, I've got a bunch. Here are my archived classes. So you can still go in and you can grab assignments from there. You're not losing anything. You're just archiving it because that class is done. So to get there, you go to the main menu, you could click Classes, and then you have your classes listed here. Three dots, Archive. All right, so that's our plan. Good file management, archive your classroom, and that's Google for this year. All right, have a great last couple days. Enjoy your summer, and I'll see you in the fall.